I do not see anything that threatens national security because people are asking for a referendum. There should be a referendum. Every region should be asked whether they want to be part of Nigeria. And if there's any region that does not want to be part of Nigeria, it's okay to allow that region to go its own way. Holding them hostage, because this is really holding them hostage, it's wrong. If you do a referendum, then you put it to rest. If they want to go, fine. If they want to stay, whether it is IPOB, whether it is Arewa, whether it is Odudua, whether it is South people, let everybody decide. It is already 110 years, or it's already 111 years since the amalgamation, when the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate were put together. Why are you still forcing people to stay together? I have always said it, and I'll continue to say, we need to have a Nigerian conversation. But by the way, has Kanu vindicated? Now they have said APC and PDP are terrorist organizations.
All right. So the popular social media activist in Nigeria, Aisha Yusuf, yes, the popular Aisha Yusuf, you know, has dropped another bombshell about Nigeria and about Biafran, and of course IPOB in particular. Now, you remember a couple of days ago, the Canadian court declared PDP and APC as terrorist organization, right? You remember I posted that video on this channel. Now, Aisha Yusuf has dropped another bombshell. So please, I'm not going to say what she said, but I'm going to allow you to watch it and hear what she said yourself. But then I keep asking a question. Do you think that this Canadian court will just wake up one morning and declare APC and PDP terrorist organization? The question is, what is behind this declaration? What made them? Ah, God, I don't know if Nigerians reason this thing the way I reason it. Like, what could ever make an European court to wake up one morning and declare the two major parties we have in Nigeria as terrorist organization? And it seems nobody's asking question. It seems nobody's worried about that. Nigerians, are you not worried about this? That the ruling party in Nigeria has been declared by an European court that it is a terrorist organization. What does that tell you? And here we are, shouting about 2027 general election, APC and PDP. Are we not talking about it? And people are talking about the dangers of this party. And we are not reasoning. We are not asking questions. Anyway, as I said, let me allow you to watch what Ms. Aisha said about this whole thing. Then after watching it, you do well to drop your comment in the comment section, please. What you think about this. Don't forget, the question is, what could ever make this court to wake up, or after the investigation or whatever, to declare APC and PDP as terrorist organization? Please watch this video that was made by Aisha.
The question that I have today is that, has Nnamdi Kanu been vindicated? Because it's being reported that Canadian court has declared APC and PDP as terrorist organization. And I think Bruce Fern is saying that it is Nnamdi Kanu that should be prosecuting Tinubu and not the other way around. And well, let's look at this. For me, I feel somehow about this whole Canadian, Canadian court declaring APC and PDP a terrorist organization. One is that, like, what audacity, because these are Nigerian parties. But at the other end is that, are they lying? Are they not truly a terrorist organization? Parties that have been in government, that have killed people, opened fire on people, killed innocent citizens who were just protesting. What's the difference? During Occupy Nigeria, that was during PDP, when PDP was the ruling party. They killed protesters who just came out to protest that, oh, the price that you put was too much. During NSAS and many other times also. The other one, to many other times, protesters have been killed. But one very particular one is that, during NSAS, when citizens, youth had come out to say, look, stop killing us, protect our lives. And the next thing, soldiers were sent in, to go and kill them. So you look at this thing and be wondering, are they not right? Are they not truly terrorist organization? As another reporter has this, it says, Bruce Fenn, a U.S. constitutional lawyer and counsel for Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people Biafra IPOB, said that the Canadian court's ruling shows the Nigerian government prosecution of Kanu is like Lucifer prosecuting Jesus. Fenn has made the statement following a Canadian court's reported declaration of Nigeria's ruling All Progressive Congress APC and opposition People's Democratic Party PDP as terrorist organization. One thing that you understand, just to give you a bit of context, these people, members of, I think some of their members, from what I read in the other, they try to get what do you call this thing now? What's that thing when you, oh Lord have mercy, this old age, when you go to other people's this thing and it just gets to, you know, so, oh Lord have mercy, sometimes you have this thing, something, you're trying to remember something and it just enters your head and then it just goes off again. I'm sure you're going to see this video as it is. I don't have time editing this out and making it look good or like this is how it is. Not immunity, they're trying to, asylum, what is it? Yeah, they're trying to get asylum. They go over to these places when they've already caused havoc. I saw the other time when someone, a policeman, said that they were going to do something to in Nigeria. You sure Canadian, they drove him back, they denied him that asylum. Come back to Nigeria that you've helped to destroy. Where are you running away to? So it was on that this thing was made. Fenn made the statement following Canadian court's reported declaration of Nigeria's ruling All Progressive Congress APC and the opposition People's Democratic Party PDP as terrorist organization. As our reporters on Thursday reported that the federal court upheld a ruling declaring both PDP and APC to be engaged in conduct amounting to terrorism and subversion of democratic institutions. What is terrorism? You put terror, you kill people. That's terrorism. It's not just when it has something to do with religion or what. And that's definitely what these parties are doing. The judgment delivered on June 17, 2025 by Justice Pong T. Vigor dismissed the asylum application of Douglas Egbareva, a Nigerian national and admitted PDP member, because his party membership alone was sufficient to make him inadmissible to Canada under paragraph 34(1)(f) of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act (IRPA). The court endorsed the Immigration Appeal Division's IAD detailed finding that both the PDP and APC had engaged in political violence, voter intimidation, ballot stuffing, and even murder to gain and maintain power, according to a court document obtained by People's Gazette. Quoting directly from the IAD's reasoning, Justice Ungo noted the conduct of individuals who are members of the PDP, which includes violence, murder, ballot stuffing, ballot box snatching, intimidation of voters, and other unlawful acts, is too widespread and persistent over too great a period of time to dissociate the leadership of the party from their action. The court further upheld the IAD's conclusion that both parties' actions fit the definition of terrorism under Canadian law, stating that the violence was designed to intimidate the public or a segment of the public for a political objective. While acknowledging that both PDP and APC have engaged in unlawful practices, the IAD found that the PDP committed the majority of the acts and benefited most from them, especially during its 16 years of power. I tell you, a lot. That's why PDP doesn't have mouth. A lot of the things that APC is doing today, they learned from a PDP and became more evil. Reacting to the Canadian court ruling, Fenn, in a post in his X, formerly Twitter account, said the ruling has proved that if justice should prevail, Kanu should be prosecuting President Bola Tinubu, who is, by the way, not my president, and the Nigerian government, and not the government prosecuting Kanu. MNK's prosecution by APC's Tinubu is like Lucifer prosecuting Jesus for impiety. Canadian court finds APC and PDP terrorist organization. If justice prevailed, Nnamdi Kanu would be prosecuting Tinubu, not vice versa. But God is just, and his justice will not sleep forever. Fenn has been a vocal critic of the Nigerian government's handling of Kanu's case, accusing it of human rights abuses, illegal rendition, and violation of international law. His latest comments come amid renewed calls by IPOB Supporters and rights activists for Kanu's release argue that the trial is politically motivated. Kanu has been in custody of the Department of State Services (DSS) since June 2021 after his arrest in Kenya. Faces multiple charges, including treasonable felony, terrorism charges. He has repeatedly denied. IPOB has maintained its demand for a referendum on Biafra's independence, while the Nigerian government insists the group's activities threaten national security. I do not see anything that threatens national security because people are asking for a referendum. There should be a referendum. Every region should be asked whether they want to be part of Nigeria. And if there's any region that does not want to be part of Nigeria, it's okay to allow that region to go its own way. Holding them hostage, because this is really holding them hostage, it's wrong. If you do a referendum, then you put it to rest. If they want to go, fine. If they want to stay, whether it is IPOB, whether it is Arewa, whether it is Odudua, whether it is South people, let everybody decide. It is already 110 years, or it's already 111 years since the amalgamation, where the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate were put together. Why are you still forcing people to stay together? I have always said it, and I'll continue to say, we need to have a Nigerian conversation. But by the way, has Kanu Nwankwo been vindicated? Now they have said APC and PDP are terrorist organizations, according to a Canadian court.
Now, Joshua Mrai joins us from the streets of Abuja to get reactions. And I'm also joined by Dr. Sam Nnamdi, public affairs analyst, who will share his thoughts on the development. Thank you, Joshua Mrai. Let me start with you. What is the reaction to this? It's quite an interesting turn of event. What are the people saying?
Well, Nigerians are reacting with shock over the recent development from the Canada court declaring that two major parties, the PDP and the APC, designating them as terrorist organizations. Well, you won't hear from me only, you'll be hearing from some of our respondents on the street who have appealed to say concerning the recent developments. Come over, sir. Come over, sir. Come over, sir. Well, I have a gentleman here who has his view particularly on this issue. Tell us the name, sir.
My name is Femi Ajimunda, Executive Director of Open Right Group.
Okay, what do you think about the current designation of PDP and APC as terrorist group by the Canadian court? What are your views?
No, I'm not surprised if they say PDP and APC are terrorist group, because right from time where they are doing things in Nigeria, rigging of an election is a terrorist act, manipulating the judiciary. We are in this country when in number 4 in an election, it was number 4. He eventually ended up as a governor of a state today. So it's a part of terrorism. So I'm not surprised with the decisions of the Canadian court, because both PDP and APC they are just recamping and decamping to each party, and they are the one that are manipulating the system. So they are part of terrorism. They are the one that they are in front of all those things. So that is my own thinking about it.
Well, this young man is not the only gentleman here who wants to give his views on the issue. We have another gentleman here who wishes to talk, but currently he's declining. Over to you, Blessings.
Giving us the reactions of the people. I'll now go to Dr. Nnamdi. Dr. Nnamdi, what is your initial reaction to the Canadian Federal Court's ruling that declared Nigeria's PDP and APC, two of the strongest political parties that we have in the country, as terrorist organizations?
Well, thank you for having me. I think first it was like a surprise. I mean, well, I didn't expect that coming. Surprised that what would have been the subject matter of litigation that would have triggered a ruling from a court or observation from a court. This is quite unusual in judicial proceedings. And later, well, I normalize it. And when you get to perhaps get more detail about it, you now see that maybe it's one of those occasions where international courts interpret their own laws and fit their laws, fit the facts that are not perhaps, domestic facts, international facts to the law. And so the court maybe interpretively did not go wrong too much, because they said that these parties have been involved in democratic violations of democratic rights, electoral violence, and acts of violence against citizens. And of course, in this country, we've had elections that are very violent. And the bad thing about these elections is that there is always impunity. So if after election there's violence and the state intervenes, and the Attorney General of the Federation prosecutes those who are involved in violence, then those actions will not be seen as action of formal nature, official act of either the party or the state. So that court simply now says, look, yeah, we see it as perhaps a policy of these political parties to be violent, and there have been actual acts of violence and terror against citizens in electoral systems and other undermine democracy and people's rights. So they concluded, which is arguable, that they are terrorist organization, and therefore, since the applicant himself has part of his claim to getting, asylum is that he was a member of these two parties. He has been was PDP and now APC. And this guy might not be a member or maybe a very low-level person, but having claimed that the judge concluded that, look, these parties are terrorist organizations, and therefore, under the Canadian law, a member of terrorist organization cannot be granted, can be denied asylum because his membership suggests he kind of approves the official act of the party.
All right.
We know that these parties are not terrorist groups in the sense we understand terror groups.
Okay.
But we can see that they have been complicit in some acts that could, be interpreted that way.
All right, Dr. Nnamdi, thank you so much for your thoughts on this matter. We'll go back now to Joshua Murai, who has some more persons who want to give us their feedback regarding the labeling. Joshua, over to you.
Well, a gentleman here is currently here who wants to give his own opinion concerning the issue. Well, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
A federal court of Canada just designated PDP and APC as terrorist organizations because of the fact that they accuse them of election violence, subversion of democracy, as well as bloodletting during elections. What do you think?
That is a lie.
Why do you say so?
Because no one authorizes, every country has their way they play their politics. No matter what they said, Nigeria is moving forward, and those political party has done all they can to see that we have left where we are and where we are going. It might not be too fast, but we are heading somewhere. Who authorized it? There's no terrorism there. Have we ever interfered in what they are doing? So I don't accept any external suggestion over Nigeria. We are old enough to decide, and we have the power to decide what we want that will best for our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can go. Mixed reactions from the street, particularly on this issue. While some seem to conform with this particular ruling of the Federal Canada Court, some are against it, saying that this is a wrong move by the Federal Canada Court, designating two major political players, that is the APC and the PDP, as terrorist organizations. Blessings.
Thank you, Joshua Murai. Let me come back to Dr. Nnamdi regarding what the last person there spoke about. It basically just called it intrusion, and, one can understand his point because that kind of blacklists Nigeria in a way. So, Dr. Nnamdi, what is your take on what the gentleman had said?
I think it has some truth. I mean, look, this is dangerous for the country. I mean, even though it has no direct impact, they're not employing Nigeria or taking action, but a legal document that identifies the two leading parties in Nigeria as terrorist organizations can become a basis, a material fact for further proceedings against persons who headed those parties. So it's dangerous. I think perhaps the Nigerian government should care about vacating, secularizing that decision. But again, this is within their power. I mean, a judge faced with the matter, the administrative tribunal for immigration, can interpret the law and the facts. And so he came to the conclusion that, look, these organizations are terrorist organizations. For us as a sovereign country, we will object to that. That does not properly characterize. If we know that these parties and the evidence of international observers, and that's the danger. You see, when Nigeria acts very recklessly and lawlessly, they forget that these actions have today's globalized world. Narratives are being shaped. These materials are in public domain. The things that go on Twitter, everywhere, X, everywhere, they are on public domain. So when the elections are being categorized as bloodletting, as warfare, as unbridled violence, it's dangerous for citizens, it's for the country. I think it's very, very bad. And I think Nigeria should see it as something that calls for attention and quickly go and use such a right proceeding to delete that proceeding, because this is a federal court in Canada, a respected country in the liberal world. And it means that it's material, it builds up against Nigerian reputation. It provides evidence for further proceedings, actions against Nigerian state actors and leaders of these two parties. Many of these people are in government. Those are members. So it's possible, for example, to file action against the Nigerian International Court for gross violation of human rights, for such things as torture and so on and so forth, and plead in evidence the fact that a well-regarded court had ruled that Nigeria, these parties are terrorists, and therefore it provides evidence to indict and prosecute those high officers. So Nigeria has to be serious and see this as in two ways. Yeah.
All right. Public affairs analyst, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Sam Amadi, for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.
All right. So I appreciate you for watching to this point. All right. Thank you very much. What's your thought about it? Drop your comment in the comment section. All right. Thank you very much, and may God continue to bless you.